Support for Louisiana, the state we're in, is provided by
Entergy Louisiana is strengthening our power grid throughout the state. We're reinforcing infrastructure to prepare for stronger storms, reduce outages, and respond quicker when you do need us, because together we power life.
additional support provided by the Fred B. and Ruth B. Ziegler Foundation and the Ziegler Art Museum, located in Jennings City Hall. The museum focuses on emerging Louisiana artists and is a historical and cultural center for Southwest Louisiana. And the Foundation for Excellence in Louisiana Public Broadcasting and viewers like you. Thank you.
Catholics across Louisiana are celebrating Pope Leo XIV's family ties to Louisiana.
And is the air we breathe safe? I'll dig into the highs and lows of Louisiana's air quality.
And big news in Bienville Parish. We will check out a major solar energy project in the region.
Plus, American Idol finalist John Foster got a hero's welcome in his hometown.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Let's get started. Hello, everyone. I'm Karen LeBlanc.
And I'm Dorothea Wilson. Much more on those top stories in a moment on this week's edition of Louisiana, the state we're in. But first,
Louisiana's Catholic community is celebrating the ascendance of the first American Pope and his family ties to New Orleans. Pope Leo XIV's maternal grandparents lived in the Crescent City, and those ties are bringing renewed pride and hope to the community across Louisiana.
The white smoke billowing from the Sistine Chapel chimney draws cheers and tears from the crowd gathered at the Vatican on May 8th, signifying a new pope was elected following the death of Pope Francis on April 21st. Pope Leo XIV is the first American-born pope in the history of the Catholic Church and is making history in Louisiana with his Creole roots.
I was just curious about the name Prevost. Unlike so many people, I didn't immediately assume that there was a Louisiana connection.
Jarry Honoré is a genealogist at the historic New Orleans collection. Just hours after the papal announcement, Jarry began researching the family tree of Robert Francis Prevost and posted his findings on Facebook, making national headlines.
Prevost is a name that you'll find throughout, the French-speaking world, and that's what I anticipated, was that he might be French-Canadian or Arcadian or maybe from recent French immigrants to this country. And on his father's side, that proved to be true, definitely of Italian and French descent. But when I shifted just on a whim to his mother's side, I started to see New Orleans reference, and I started to see some very familiar surnames, and that's when it dawned on me that the Holy Father's maternal side is solidly rooted here in New Orleans.
Jarry's genealogy work revealed the pontiff's maternal grandparents, Joseph and Louise Martinez, were Creoles of color from the 7th Ward.
The census, which is still taken every 10 years, for 1900, they were at 1933 North Prior Street, which is in our historic 7th Ward neighborhood here in New Orleans. And I was hoping that that house would still be standing, but like so many in that little corridor, it was taken by the I-10 overpass in the 1960s. But in the 1910 census, which is the last one where they're recorded here in New Orleans, and probably just a matter of months before they migrated to Chicago, they were actually renting in the Upper Pontalba building, right on Jackson Square. All 4 of his great-grandparents were rooted in Louisiana, and out of his great-great-grandparents on the maternal side, at least 5 of them were also born right here in Louisiana.
Joseph Martinez worked as a cigar maker, and his wife Louise was a homemaker. They had 7 girls. 6 were born in New Orleans before moving to Chicago in 1910 and changing their racial identity from black to white. The 7th daughter, Mildred Agnes Martinez Prevost, was born in Chicago and is Pope Leo XIV's mother.
They were listed as black or mulatto or colored in censuses and in vital records and other sources. But once they migrate to Chicago, then almost, in fact, universally, everything changes to white.
Pope Leo XIV's Creole roots are a source of pride among Louisiana Catholics. Bishop Michael Gerard Duca of the Diocese of Baton Rouge says the new pope brings a fresh energy to the faithful.
Well, I think everybody's just excited. I mean, it actually a kind of renewal of spirit when you have someone coming in brand new, new hope, new energy, and then of course they speak your language, they know your culture, and they're connected to your culture. Down in Louisiana now, they're connected here as well. That just brings the church closer to you and makes us feel a bit more part of the universal church as well. Americans are kind of insulated sometimes, but this draws us into the world stage in a very positive way, and that's a good thing.
Pope Leo XIV was born in Chicago, attended Villanova University, and served as a missionary in Peru for 2 decades. The 69-year-old Pope chose the name Leo, joining a group of 13 other pontiffs who have taken the name. It was last held by Pope Leo XIII, a social justice advocate who served during the Industrial Revolution in the late 1800s.
I think when he picked Leo, he sees that we're in the same situation now, electronic revolution, you might say. And we can see how social media is helping us, but also pulling families apart, decreasing people's interaction with one another face to face. How there's a great division more and more between rich and poor. The same kind of things are happening. High degrees of human trafficking. Human dignity is being pushed under the rug for the sake of profit or for the sake of increasing electronic dominance, whatever you might call it, at the expense of human interaction.
Robert Francis Prevost was initially a long shot for the papacy. The papal conclave chose the 267th pope on its second day after 4 rounds of voting.
The fact that he has Creole roots tied to Louisiana, do you see that in some way perhaps motivating stagnant Catholics to inspire them to come back to the church, or maybe bringing more Catholics into the fold because now they see themselves in him, or they feel some sort of kindred spirit? Is there some positive impact, I guess, among Louisiana Catholics, bringing some back to the church?
I think definitely. Anytime you have someone make a connection, they at least look back. They give a little bit more respect to the church. Respect meaning you look again. And I think some eyes and ears have been turned toward the church again to listen. And whenever the church speaks something that touches the hearts of people, even if they don't agree with it, it touches their hearts, it draws them back to the heart of the gospel. I think this moment has done that.
Everybody fondly remembers the visit of John Paul II in 1987, and we're eagerly anticipating a visit from Pope Leo. It highlights our heritage of faith, and I think that faith and heritage are so often linked. We learn our prayers at our mother's knees. We follow the example of our parents and grandparents in the practice of our faith, and so the fact that we have in this story family and religion is just beautiful.
From hashtags to headlines, here's what's trending this week. Heartbreaking news in Bienville Parish, where the historic Nottoway plantation is virtually gone, burned to ashes.
That's right. The plantation caught fire Thursday afternoon, and firefighters thought they had it under control, but the fire re-sparked and quickly spread late Thursday night.
Yeah, so the home's roof and its second floor collapsed along with several of the walls.
Nottoway was built in the 1850s and through the years was a symbol of both the darkest parts of Louisiana history, but also served to educate visitors on the progress we've made.
Now, in recent years, it served as an iconic wedding and events venue. Dan Dice and his wife Desiree bought the home and had spent quite a bit of money restoring it, and it was supposed to function as a community events venue. They were going to open the restaurant, and the community of Bienville Parish really had high hopes that it would work to bring the community together.
Absolutely. And you know what I think about most of all is those that were going to have weddings there. And there could be some bride out there that wanted to have a wedding actually this weekend, and she can no longer do so.
We have to acknowledge its past, but mourn that it's a loss to our history and definitely an architectural treasure. Well, moving on to some good news. A major green energy initiative is underway in Bienville Parish. Microsoft, in partnership with Clearloop, hopes to boost energy diversity and reduce carbon emissions in underserved communities. The project also brings economic and educational opportunities to the region. Take a look.
What was once pasture land for cows and poultry houses in Arcadia is finding a new purpose, harvesting the sun for energy. It's the site of the first solar farm in Bienville Parish.
And to be able to see now which was once an open pasture with cows, to now see solar panels full on it, that would definitely be a sight to see. And it'll actually show people that, like, hey, Arcadia is growing when you travel down I-20. And a lot of times you have investors that may travel up and down I-20 and say, hey, that place is growing, I want in on it.
Clearloop and its parent company, Silicon Ranch, a solar and carbon solution company, are developing the $15 million solar farm.
What we do at Clearloop is we focus on getting companies that want to do something good for the environment, and we are using their dollars to go deploy new solar projects in parts of the country where those projects are not happening. And so we essentially are carbon solutions platforms.
The 60-acre tract of land will produce solar energy that connects to the local power grid. The aim is to accelerate decarbonization and drive economic investment in underinvested communities.
The tax dollars that we'll get off of it, that'll be one thing. But the other thing is having that foundation and having that infrastructure in case you have another major business that want to come in and want to go with green energy or a clean version of energy.
The Bienville Parish Solar Farm is the first of several that Clearloop and Silicon Ranch plan to launch in Louisiana. The solar energy produced will enhance the power grid and reduce greenhouse gas emissions.
It's about a little less than 5 megawatts. It powers about a little less than 2,000 homes in the area. So this will be a solar project in that community that will be generating electricity from the sun there locally, and then also interconnected to the distribution grid in Entergy, which then distributes to the parish in the town of Arcadia.
The solar farm is part of Microsoft's commitment to deploy up to 100 megawatts of renewable energy projects over the next 3 years.
So Microsoft essentially provides the funds and in turn gets the carbon offset. Is that how this works?
Yeah, so they get the environmental attributes from this project, and so what they're trying to do is use their capital basically as a way to reduce, sort of pollution and the adverse effects on the environment, and then they're taking that and matching it against their own carbon footprint. And so for them, it's a way to reduce their burden on the environment while at the same time helping to deploy new infrastructure. And so we identified Bienville Parish as a place where there's lots of really great factors, sort of this opportunity to get more carbon out of the grid. So it's a good thing for the environment, but also a good thing for that community because we are actually becoming big taxpayers.
The solar project also brings community investment in Bienville Parish through a nonprofit funded by Microsoft to support education and economic development.
They're going to provide trainings for our science teachers and provide a curriculum free where we can teach STEM to our students, and that will provide our students access to the solar farm as well. I think with the STEM program and the curriculum that Clearloop and Microsoft is providing us, that will give our students the knowledge base to become engineers and anything else they would like to become. They will learn about renewable energy and the benefits of renewable energy for our community and as a state and as a whole for this entire world.
Bienville Parish leaders say solar power production brings energy resilience to the area with the ability to generate power locally as a safety net in times of natural disaster, power outages, or grid failures.
In the state of Louisiana, less than 1% of the electricity that you're consuming today comes from solar. And as there's more and more demands and kind of growth of the electricity sector, there's an opportunity for us to actually build more and kind of take advantage of the resource we have from the sun.
In a rural parish where jobs in manufacturing, oil and gas, and farming dominate the economy, renewable energy offers Bienville Parish an opportunity to diversify, grow its tax base, attract more businesses, and repurpose large tracts of land.
A new report shows both progress and ongoing challenges for Louisiana's air quality. The American Lung Association's State of the Air report is a mixed bag for us here in Louisiana. Here's a look at their findings. Well, I am here with Eric Weinzettel, the Advocacy Director with the American Lung Association. Eric, thank you so much for being with me today.
Thank you so much for having me, Dorothea.
Yeah. Now, we have this report about our air quality. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, so we have published our 26th edition of our State of the Air. It is one of our 3 signature reports that the American Lung Association puts out every year. And what it does is it analyzes air quality across the nation and grades it off of 3 levels, which are our ozone levels, our daily particulate levels, and then our year-long exposure to particulate levels. We have one for each state, and so of course we're here talking about Louisiana.
Yes, we are.
And unfortunately, we are seeing a downwards trend here in Louisiana. Across the state, we're kind of seeing a lowering of numbers. We give grades on those 3 metrics that we were talking about, and we've seen lower in all 3, unfortunately.
Yeah, so let's talk about Louisiana and our numbers. Now, you said the numbers are lowering. What impacts does that have on our health here?
A huge amount. When we're talking about ozone levels, we're seeing that could have a serious health effects, serious health defects for people who are susceptible to these kind of things, people with asthma, lung disease, older population or the very young. Particulate matter, specifically short-term spikes in particulate matter, we can see acute effects such as coughing, wheezing, shortness of breath, and that is actually what can lead to lung cancer.
Now, I know earlier we were just chatting and you talked about the relationship you have with Cancer Society and American Heart Association. Why those in particular? Does the air quality affect those organs as well?
Absolutely. Air quality affects all parts of the body. Now, of course, the air becomes filtered through the lungs, but what affects the lungs will affect the rest of the body. It will enter into our bloodstream and will have that negative effects across the whole body, not just in our lungs.
So I see why there's the correlation there. So I wanted to talk about the burden of air pollution on communities of color. Talk to me about that.
Unfortunately, what we see across the United States, and especially here in Louisiana, is communities of color are disproportionately affected by these burdens of air quality, these larger days with worse outcomes where you see more of these F ratings that we're seeing. Probably the most infamous example is Cancer Alley. You know, it is a majority black populations, and they are exposed to some of the worst exposures that we've seen in the entire country.
Wow, that's interesting there. So what can we do, Eric? How can we fight this? What can we do as a community, as a state, to combat this air pollution problem?
The first thing I would say is to be informed. A lot of us don't know, and perhaps we were exposed to it a couple years ago when Louisiana had those kind of unprecedented wildfires, right? We realized we were learning about what bad days meant, what purple days meant, like what do all of these air quality things mean for me? And so the first thing you can do is check the air quality before you go out, especially if you are one of those populations who are more susceptible to bad air quality. Go to airnow.gov to check what kind of air quality you have, and if you have the ability to shape your schedule around it. If you are someone who exercises outside and you see that it's a bad air quality day, shift that to indoor exercise or stay indoors more if you can. Other ways we can do it, aside from just being informed, is to advocate. Advocate, we can go to lung.org/SOTA. We have a bevy of resources for you to not only educate yourself, but to get involved. What we're really looking at right now is at the federal level is that we really want to protect the Environmental Protection Agency, the EPA. They are under threat of losing a lot of funding and reverting a lot of the great work we've done and setting up the metrics that we have to protect people. So calling on your senators and your congresspeople to support the EPA and increase that funding. And then at the local level, get involved, see what's happening, work with your council members, anything we can to promote healthy air at the local level as well.
Thank you. I love that. Any final thoughts, Eric?
I think one of the most impactful things we say at the Lung Association that really resonates with me is that when you can't breathe, nothing else matters.
That's powerful.
It is, and it should let everybody know that the air we breathe, this is not a partisan issue. This is something that matters to everybody at all ages, of all demographics. We all rely on healthy air to live good life. And so I would say make your support loud and proud, keep yourself informed, and do what you can.
Awesome. I love that. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Such a great cause. So important. The air we breathe.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Louisiana's own John Foster is headed to the finale of American Idol. Foster was welcomed home to West Baton Rouge Parish with a parade and concert earlier this week. I got to talk to Foster and his family ahead of the Idol finale.
Don't all the dreams we've seen come true mean anything? Oh, all right. You know what, Carrie? You say it's different now.
Louisiana native John Foster will soon find out if he is the next American Idol. We chatted with him at his family's meat market to catch up, meet his family, and hear about his amazing journey so far.
John, how excited are you?
Incredibly excited just to get the golden ticket way back in November. You know, when I first filmed that audition, was just a surreal moment for me, and every single step has been more and more exciting.
Born and raised in Addis, this American Idol hopeful immersed himself in music from a young age, listening to traditional country music artists like George Strait, Keith Whitley, and Merle Haggard. Before reaching the top 3 on the popular TV show, the 18-year-old country singer formed a band with his uncle, Galen Martin, who could tell by the spark in his eye that John was committed for the long haul.
Before you know it, he came to me, he said, hey, I want to start a band, and it was like, okay, let me see if I can get some guys together, and it was a little bit of a process. It took us, roughly a year to really kind of get the right guys lined up, and once we did, we started, playing some honky tonks and little bars around town.
After playing with the band and mastering his guitar skills, John felt ready to take his career to the next level and pursue opportunities in the big leagues. With his faith, guitar, and flavor of Louisiana to meet the judges.
And John, what am I carrying?
You are carrying some Cajun food.
Cajun
food from South Louisiana.
Woo,
got some boudin in here? You sure do.
And it goes without saying, it was a hit. Louisiana food is good for the soul.
Hey!
You're going to Hollywood!
Many of them.
And the rest is history. John took to the American Idol stage following his audition and has sung his way through multiple rounds of eliminations, passing through each round with grace.
I've gotten more and more comfortable with this Idol stage, and the production is so friendly. I've gotten to meet so many amazing contestants from around the world, literally, and become lifelong friends with some of them. And just, the support that I've gotten from my family, from my hometown, everything is just coming at me at once, and I'm just embracing it full force and, keeping centered on my faith in myself and, just riding along on the ride.
While John's family celebrates his success on the show, his aunt Samantha, who has seen John develop into the young man he is today, admits that she isn't particularly surprised. She feels that a star was meant to shine the day John was born.
One thing I can tell you about John Foster, that like watching him grow up, whatever he's done, he has succeeded. He, school, whatever he's tried to do, he's, always going to the top.
And John is indeed shining as he has reached the final round, and this Sunday he could be crowned the next American Idol. He returns to his hometown of Addis just before the season finale and received a hero's welcome. A parade was held in his honor, attracting numerous fans from across the state to celebrate his return and show their support.
It's such a full circle moment to see him finally being successful, because everybody kind of knew that he was going to end up famous one day, and it just makes us so much so proud of him because he's such a good person.
We are so excited. We're all so proud. This community is just really behind him.
Yeah, I love that. So tell me your affiliation with John.
So I'm a teacher at the Bruley schools, and he's come through all of our schools. He has left a lasting impact on all of his former teachers, and we are all just so proud of him. He makes us so proud.
He concluded his hometown visit with a concert, performing 6 songs for his supporters while honoring his home state, Louisiana. Good luck to you, John Foster. Your Louisiana family is rooting for you.
They say the sun will come up, but it won't shine on her skin. And I'd give anything I have to talk to her again.
Now, if you want to show your support to John, visit AmericanIdol.com/vote. He is contestant number 13. That's important. Oh, my goodness.
So you visited with the family.
Yes, I did.
And with the star himself. Did he indicate what song he was going to sing for the finale?
No, Karen, he actually did not, but I will say that he is a standout, a great young man, comes from a really strong, faith, and so that's really good to see at someone his age. It was just great.
Well, and as we were chatting off camera, he definitely has star power. So,
he does.
All right, we're rooting for you.
We are.
Well, before we leave you, we want to wish a happy birthday to our former executive director, Beth Courtney, from everyone at LPB. Beth, we hope you have a great day. Well, that's our show for this week. Remember, you can watch anything LPB anytime, wherever you are, with our LPB app.
That's right, and you can catch LPB news and public affairs shows, as well as other Louisiana programs you've come to enjoy over the years. And please, like us on Facebook, X, and Instagram.
For everyone at Louisiana Public Broadcasting, I'm Karen LeBlanc.
And I'm Dorothea Wilson. Until next time, that's the state we're in.
Support for Louisiana, the state we're in, is provided by
Entergy Louisiana is strengthening our power grid throughout the state. We're reinforcing infrastructure to prepare for stronger storms, reduce outages, and respond quicker when you do need us, because together we power life.
Additional support provided by the Fred B. and Ruth B. Ziegler Foundation and the Ziegler Art Museum, located in Jennings City Hall. The museum focuses on emerging Louisiana artists and is a historical and cultural center for Southwest Louisiana. And by Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Visit Baton Rouge. And the Foundation for Excellence in Louisiana Public Broadcasting and viewers like you. Thank you.